Alexandra Eala's dream run continues.
On February 17th, 2026,
she completes a hat-trick of wins over Grand Slam champions.
20-year-old Alex Eala broke world number 8 Jasmine Paolini twice in the opening set, and the entire center court in Dubai erupted in a roar so thunderous it sounded like the venue had been teleported to Manila. Thousands of Filipino flags, chants drowning out the line calls, a stadium transformed into a fortress of national pride for a player ranked outside the top 40 just weeks earlier. And what happened over the next 6 days left the entire tennis world scrambling to understand what they had just witnessed. Let the record show exactly who Alex Eala is right now. She is the first Filipino woman in history to crack the top 31 in the world rankings. Not in a decade, not in a generation, ever. In the entire history of professional tennis, no Filipino woman has stood where Alex Eala stands today. So career-high world number 31. Achieved on February 23, 2026, a leap of 16 ranking spots in a single week.
Yes, what a point!
That is not a gradual climb. That is a rocket launch. Most players spend entire careers trying to move 16 spots. She did it in 7 days. This is the same player who became the first Filipino to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal at Miami in 2025. The same player who beat world number 2 Iga Swiatek 6-2, 7-5 as a wildcard. The same player who defeated 3 major champions in straight sets at a single event, something that had never been done before by a wildcard entry. And now she has added another first to the list. The first Filipino to reach a WTA 1000 quarterfinal in Dubai. Compare her trajectory to the young stars who turned national pride into global domination. Emma Raducanu, Leylah Fernandez. The names that defined breakthrough moments in tennis history. Alex Eala is writing herself into that same chapter, except she is doing it while carrying 115 million Filipinos on her shoulders. She is not just a rising star, she is a movement. But not everyone was ready to accept what was happening. The gap, that is what they kept talking about. The gap between Alex Eala and the absolute elite. The gap that supposedly proves she does not belong at the very top yet. The gap that critics point to whenever they want to temper expectations. And on February 19th, that gap was laid bare in brutal fashion. Coco Gauff, world number 4, 2-time Grand Slam champion, the American heir apparent, dismantled Eala 6-0, 6-2 in approximately 67 minutes. It was clinical, it was dominant. It was the kind of loss that can shatter confidence and derail momentum. The skeptics had their ammunition. The doubters had their proof. The gap had been quantified in the most unforgiving way possible. But here is what they missed completely. 48 hours before that loss, Alex Eala had done something that made every top player in the draw take notice. She destroyed Jasmine Paolini, world number 8, former French Open finalist, one of the most consistent performers on tour, and Eala dismantled her in the opening set 6-1 before closing out the match 7-6 in a tiebreak. 1 hour and 40 minutes of tennis that announced to the world the next generation has officially arrived. That was not a fluke. That was a statement. But it does not stop there. What happened in that stadium during the Paolini match transcended sport entirely. The crowd, packed with Filipino fans who had traveled from across the UAE and beyond, turned Dubai into something the tournament had never seen. Flags everywhere, chants echoing off the retractable roof, an atmosphere so electric that other players commented on it afterward. Coco Gauff herself acknowledged the energy Eala brings to a venue. When even your opponent recognizes that you have transformed the crowd dynamics, you are no longer just a player. You are an event. And if you think that was significant, listen to this. Former ATP Top 20 player Steve Johnson and tour veteran Sam Querrey sat down on their podcast within the last 48 hours and said something that stopped the tennis internet completely. They called Alex Eala, and this is a direct quote, an absolute rock star and the biggest draw in women's tennis. Not Aryna Sabalenka, not Coco Gauff, Alex Eala. Think about what that means. Two players who have competed at the highest level for over a decade, who have seen hundreds of players come and go, who understand exactly what moves the needle in professional tennis. They are saying that a 20-year-old Filipino is now the most compelling attraction in the women's game. That is not hyperbole. That is industry insiders recognizing a paradigm shift. And the numbers confirm it. Her ranking jumped 16 spots in 1 week, the biggest move in the entire top 50. The trajectory is not linear, it is exponential. The belief her supporters always carried is being proven correct by the rankings themselves. Every Filipino watching this right now, every kababayan who has followed her since she was a junior player winning French Open titles, you were right. The world is finally catching up to what you always knew. Steve Johnson is not some random commentator throwing opinions into the void. 12 years on the ATP Tour, multiple titles, a career spent competing against the best players on the planet. When someone with his credentials calls Alex Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis, it's bigger than the current world #1, bigger than Grand Slam champions, the entire sport has to listen. And Sam Querrey backs him up. Another decade-plus veteran, another voice that carries weight in every locker room and broadcast booth in tennis. These are not fans caught up in the moment. These are professionals making a calculated assessment of who moves the needle in women's tennis right now, and their verdict is unanimous. It is Alex Eala. The industry sees what the rankings have not fully captured yet. She is not just climbing. She is transforming what tennis popularity looks like in the modern era. But this story is bigger than Alex Eala. Tennis has been searching for its next global superstar, someone who can fill the vacuum left by Serena Williams, someone who can make the sport feel essential to new audiences, someone who can turn casual viewers into devoted fans. Alex Eala checks every single box. 115 million Filipinos in the homeland, millions more across the diaspora, in Dubai, in the United States, in every corner of the world where overseas Filipino workers have built communities. These are audiences that mainstream tennis has historically ignored. These are markets that tournament directors are now desperate to capture. Indian Wells is next. Then Miami, in where she already made history with her semifinal run in 2025. The French Open, Wimbledon, the US Open, each tournament is another chapter. Each match is another opportunity to expand her reach. Top 20 by end of year is not a dream anymore. It is a trajectory. And the tennis world is finally paying attention. She did not pretend the golf loss did not hurt. Standing in the press room after that 0-6, 6-2 defeat, Eala was honest. Obviously, I think the gap between us was pretty prominent. She could have made excuses. She could have deflected. Instead, she acknowledged reality and then immediately reframed it. That is not to say that I am so far out of reach. The biggest takeaway is that I am on the right path. Hours later, she posted on Instagram, 3 weeks of fighting with love and pride has come to an end here in Dubai. It is a privilege to play in front of people who see themselves in you. What a privilege it is to do what you love with love. That mental toughness, that ability to absorb a devastating loss and immediately find gratitude, separates champions from everyone else. She entered Dubai ranked 47. She left ranked 31, the highest any Filipino woman has ever climbed. She broke Paolini in the first set. She made former tour players call her the biggest draw in the sport. She made Coco Gauff acknowledge the energy she brings to a stadium. She made Manny Pacquiao post that she won the hearts of the world. Alex Eala did not just win matches in Dubai. She showed 115 million Filipinos what it looks like when one of their own refuses to accept limits. The girl from the Philippines is just warming up. Is Alex Eala already the biggest draw in women's tennis, or is she just getting started? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe before she wins a Grand Slam, and you have to pretend you were here from the beginning. Share this with every tennis fan you know. Hit the notification bell, and we will see you in the next one.